Okay, so hello everyone. My name is Xiaoqin Yan, and I'm currently a first-year undergrad student in Department of Psychology here at MSU. And today I will be talking about our voice non-recognition in the workplace project. So, um, with the rapid growth of world's economy, older workers has been recognized as a growing portion in the work labor force. However, research has shown that older workers has been experiencing age discrimination in the workplace. So the purpose of this study is to examine the voice non-recognition in the workplace, focusing on the role of age in the acknowledgement of employees' voice behaviors. So first, employee voice describes when people speak up in the workplace, and voice non-recognitions happens when others do not acknowledge the employee's voice. So in this study, we actually look at two type of employees' voice behaviors, promotive voice and prohibitive voice. We first define promotive voice as employee suggestion that can improve or benefits their work unit. And then prohibitive voice describes as employees expressing concern in the workplace and the expression that something may negatively impact organizations. And then we also look at age because research shows that younger peoples are more likely to hold stereotypes such as old peoples do not familiar with technology. And reservedly, older workers may also hold the stereotype that younger peoples are less professional. And then moving here, we can see the models which we use to estimate our hypothesis. So according to these models, we actually have developed three hypotheses. So first, for hypothesis one, we argue that promotive voice can be more positively related to outcomes such as voice recognitions and competence than prohibitive voice. And then for hypothesis two, we argue that perceived status can matter the relationship between voice and outcomes. And then for hypothesis three, we argue that participant age and workers' age will matter the relationship between voice and outcome in such the relationship will be stronger than the participant is younger, and then the worker is older. And then next we have the method sections. So our data is collected from 625 participants with mean age of 42.55 and standard deviation of 13.44, and 45.7% of them were females, and 77.5% of them were white, and 44.2% of them were currently supervising other employees. So for the experiment procedures, in order to complete the survey, participants were asked to read the thing first, and then were present with manipulations. And then the participants were also told to imagine themselves as real managers, as we are not able to find any real manager in the real world. And then here we actually have adopted a 2x2 factor design, which we have two type of voice with the manipulated employee's age, which will result in four conditions. And right here, we have a screenshot of the manipulation that the participants will shows. Here we have the graphs showing the results. So first for voice recognitions, we can see the older workers, the promoted voice. So for the younger participants actually rate the promoted voice from older workers higher than the prohibited voice, and then for the younger workers, the rating was kind of same. And here, here's a rating from the middle-aged participants, and we can see there's strong overlapping between the rating for both younger workers and older workers, but generally the promoted voice was still rated slightly higher than the prohibited voice. And then here we have older workers, and we can see the younger work, and they actually rate the promoted voice from younger workers higher than the prohibited voice for the younger worker. And then for the older workers, the rating was still kind of same between promoted voice and prohibited voice. Here we can see the competence. So you can see for the younger workers, the promoted voice from older worker was still rated higher than prohibited voice, and then the rating for the promoted voice from younger workers rating similar was to the prohibitive voice for younger workers. And then for the mid-age participants still rating both promoted voice, both younger workers and older workers kind of things, but you can still see the promoted voice was still rated slightly higher than prohibitive voice. And lastly, we have here the rating from older workers, and we can see that the younger workers' promoted voice was rated slightly higher than the prohibitive voice, while the promoted voice from older workers rated slightly lower than the prohibitive voice for from the older workers. And then here we have the summarized the data by regular correlations for the tables. And here we can see the mapping role of status was not very significant. And the three-way interactions between voice, participant age, and the worker's age was significant for voice recognition and competence. Lastly, here we have the discussion here. And so generally we found that overall participants rate promoted voice higher in the competence and the voice recognitions than prohibitive voice. And then we also find that the gap in competence and voice recognition between promoted voice and prohibitive voice was larger for older workers, for young participants. And then the gap in competence and voice recognition between promoted voice and prohibitive voice was larger for younger workers, for older participants. And then middle-aged participants did not show a difference in rating competence and voice recognition between older workers and younger workers. And that for a potential future research direction could be the implication of the organization in practice. So for example, how do voice recognitions impact any other aspects of older employees' working experience? And then for limitations, this is a thing is that we are not able to predict participants' action in given real life situations. And then we also have social desirability bias, which participants may intentionally answer the questions in order to avoid being recognized as agents. And then there's also some common method bias. So the measure was shown to participants at same times. This may create artificial relationship between the variables and the measurement. And then last but not least, special thanks going to Dr. Emery, Joe Williams, and Caitlin Briggs, and the grad student in the organization psychology department. And I greatly appreciate also the funding support from the MSU Peer Award. Thank you.